Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're joining from. And a huge welcome to today's webinar titled Industry Insights, Real Workflows with SAP S4HANA Public Cloud. Okay, I'm Nuruddin from Vista View Solutions, and I'm part of the customer success team and the existing sales team here at Vista View, and I will be your moderator for the next hour. So whether you're tuning in from your office, your kitchen table, or your favorite coffee shop, we're thrilled to have you join us today. Today's session actually is part of an ongoing series designed to help our customers get real clarity on what's next in their ERP journey. And more importantly, what's possible when your systems start working smarter and not harder. Things are changing every day. Okay, so we're keeping this as fun and casual as possible. So please feel free to use the chats for your comments or drop your questions as we go. And again, to keep this human and lively, Sonia will be helping us with a couple of quick surveys to get us to know everyone a bit better. Okay. All right. Let me switch to. Okay. So let's go to know our panelists before we dive in. Wenlin is a seasoned SAP S4 Solutions engineer. She's led multiple customers, net new, existing customers across manufacturing and distribution in North America, presenting the value proposition of S4 in their digital transformation journey. Okay. And joining her is Deep. Deep is one of Vista View's S4 consultant. He's been part of multiple process optimizations, implementations, and migration projects alike. Okay, so thanks for being here, Wenlin and Deep. Okay, all right, just some quick housekeeping here. I have it written here. Like I said earlier, drop your questions in the chat. If you have any comments as well, use the chat for your comments. Sonia will be helping me read out your questions when we get to the Q&A segment of this webinar. And again, I wanted to state here that SAP S4HANA Public Cloud was recently rebranded by SAP to SAP Cloud ERP. So you may hear me using both terminologies interchangeably. So please don't be confused. All right. Okay. So here's what we'll be covering today. We will set the stage with some context, why so many customers are starting to look beyond their legacy ERP, whether it's ByDesign or Business One. We'll dive deep into industry-specific use cases across manufacturing, wholesale distribution, and field services, using examples and use cases where SAP S4HANA helps customers scale beyond their current setup. Okay, we will follow that up with a live panel discussion with our panelists here, Wenlin and Deep, who will share practical insights from actual customer transformations that they've been part of. Okay. All right. And finally, would have a call to action for anyone who wants to explore what a migration could look like in their own environment. So buckle up. We're going to make this as informative, as fun, and as real as possible. Okay? All right. What's the objective of today's session? If there's one thing you need to take away from today's session, here is it. It's to show you how SAP S4HANA Public Cloud is helping customers in manufacturing, distribution, and field services transform, basically solving real-world challenges legacy ERP can't handle or weren't built for. And just as importantly, to help you explore what this transformation could look like in your business, starting with a migration assessment to uncover or unlock where efficiencies, automation, and intelligence can be taken advantage of with SAP Cloud ERP or SAP S4HANA Public Cloud. Okay, so again, we can't cover the entirety of SAP S4HANA Public in a 60-minute session. So you're going to be seeing a glimpse of that. So please feel free to let us know if you have any questions or if you want to deep dive. We're more than happy to have a separate discussion about that. Okay. All right, before we get right into it, again, I want to keep this session as casual and as fun as possible. So we'll be running some poll questions and we'll be taking the first poll question here. So Sonia, if you could help us put that on the screen and we can start with that. Okay.
Yeah, it started, and in the chat we can see already lots of responses. So far it's looking good. Most of the people are focused. Just 1 to 5 tabs currently open.
Okay, I can see a lot of people who are better than me here. All right, so yeah, go ahead and vote. Are we done with the voting? Just let me know, Sonia, when we're done with the voting.
Yeah, we are done. You can go ahead.
Okay, absolutely. Sonia, so I can see the surveys, unfortunately, but if you say everyone is focused, then I think we got a lot of smart people in the room here. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's shift gears a bit. So in this next session, we want to be talking about some of the challenges and trends in the industries that we'll be covering today, manufacturing, wholesale distribution, and field services. We will cover some of the current realities and some future realities, right? By that, I mean your current setup might work well for you today, but as you scale as a business, some of those pain points or limitations we'll be covering here shortly will begin to show up. So, all right, let's start with manufacturing. Okay. So this is where we see some of the most common ERP growing pains. Many manufacturers today are still reacting rather than planning. You're trying to manage material shortages, overproduction, but you're doing that with very limited visibility. The first question here says it perfectly. How can I plan production efficiently so I'm not constantly reacting? And the truth is, when your system doesn't give you that real-time data, you're always one step behind, And then the issue of integration comes in. How do I get a real-time picture of my business when my processes don't talk to each other? That's something we hear from companies using legacy ERP. They've grown, they've gone larger, they have more complex processes, but the systems haven't really scaled with them. And it's not just about planning. As you grow into, multi-plant operations, you offer custom-built products, your system has to keep up. Legacy systems struggle with that level of complexity for sure. Because not for any bad reason, they weren't built for that. And finally, it's traceability. It's becoming a real deal breaker for companies when it comes to compliance and quality. Many customers tell us that they simply can't track batches, they simply can't track materials the way they would like to. And that's a major limitation when you're trying to meet today's regulatory and quality standards. Okay. And we hear of, my system can't support contract manufacturing natively. That's a pain too. Okay. All right. Enough of manufacturing. We can talk about those pains for a whole month. Now let's look at wholesale distribution. And I have to say, this is one of the industries where we've seen the fastest changes over the last few years. Everyone can attest to this. And the first question here says, how can I get a single real-time view of inventory across my warehouses and channels? That's probably the number one pain point. Many distributors today are running multiple systems. They have one for sales, one for warehousing. Some items are tracked on spreadsheets. That might be fine. But as you scale, what's the result of this? You get delayed information, you get poor visibility, lots of manual work just to figure out what's really available. And another one I love here is how can I streamline packing, picking, shipping without relying on manual processes? And this speaks really to reality. Distribution is all about speed and accuracy, but but manual processes kill both, you know. And if your system can't promise availability, if your system can't track margins in real time, it's like you flying blind. You're making decisions without knowing what's actually happening in your business. You know, at the end of the day, what distributors are asking for is very simple: real-time, reliable data that allows them make decisions confidently and deliver faster without chaos in the back office. Okay? All right. And finally, let's talk about field services, where the pressure to perform is higher than ever. I love this first question. How can I schedule technicians efficiently without relying on manual coordination? And as strange as it may sound, you'll be surprised how many service companies still do this today. It's time consuming, it's error prone. It leaves technicians frustrated even before they get to the job site. And the next challenge here is billing. You know, why does it take so long to turn completed service work into an invoice? This happens when your service operation, your financial systems are not integrated end to end. So even after a job is completed, it can take days or even weeks to get it billed. And the last point here, how can I avoid re-entering service information into multiple systems? That's obviously a symptom of a disconnected setup, disconnected data. Technicians enter information on one system and someone has to re-enter those information on another system. You know, this not only slows your service to cash cycle, but it will increase errors and frustrate your teams. So what field services companies need most is connection. You know, one platform integrated end to end where the field guys, the back office, and finance speak the same language. All right. So in all of what we have spoken about, does this sound familiar to you? Is this something you're experiencing, or are you experiencing another shade of this? Feel free to let us know for sure. So just in closing, so I don't talk too much here, across all these three industries, manufacturing, distribution, and field services, the theme is the same. Legacy systems are great, but if you look at it deeply, they weren't designed for the level of complexity, the level of real-time integration, automation, and insights that today's businesses demand. And the good news is that's what SAP has brought to the table. SAP has got, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but SAP has got over 5 decades of experience working on enterprise technology to support businesses with scaling. You know, and so in this next session, Deep and Wenlin will help us look at how SAP S4HANA addresses each of the challenges that I have spoken about. Okay? All right, so I will move on to the next session, SAP for manufacturing, and we'll take it industry by industry. And Deep, if you don't mind, I'll need you to speak to us on the value SAP brings for manufacturing.
Hello, everybody. Deep here. So I'll walk you through the key functionalities that SAP has that helps you improve your manufacturing processes. I'll start with planning, like advanced planning and scheduling. S4 offers easy-to-use MRP tool using which you can carry out planning for select plant and materials. SAP also recently has brought a new functionality called Predictive MRP, also known as pMRP, using which the business can run simulations and try to identify potential issues well ahead of time. And when I say issues, I mean like capacity issues or missing quantity, etc. SAP also helps the business to reschedule quickly based on the shortages or surpluses. And SAP also offers a graphical board using which a business can do finite scheduling to make sure we have a feasible plan in place and meet the demand on time. The next point is like having ability to have defined complex bill of material and define configurable items. Bill of material for any manufacturing is the heart of the production, right? Where we maintain all the components with the right kind of quantity and relevant information. Now, SAP in SAP, you can define like multi-level complex bill of material. Not only that, it offers you some additional advanced functionalities like phantom assembly maintenance. You can have elements like co-products, byproducts, etc. SAP also allows you to define configurable items, like those items whose parameters change based on the sales orders, right? So system allows you to capture the right attributes for a configurable items at the time of sales order recording, which in turn helps you to select the right components and right operations automatically. And I have seen this particular functionality being used in many different manufacturing companies which like heavily produce configurable items. The next thing is the integrated quality management and warehouse management functionalities. In SAP, you have quality management and warehouse management working hand in hand with all the core functions like purchasing, manufacturing, and sales. So SAP becomes like one single source of truth for all the operations that you're performing in-house. For example, like when I'm purchasing something, I can bring the raw materials in a bin, pack them in HU, do the quality inspection, and when the time comes, I stage them to the production line for consumption. So everything can happen in one system, and all these functions are closely and very tightly integrated to each other. The next feature I would say, engineering to order. I personally find it to be a very cool and efficient functionality for companies who are heavy into engineering. They often have to design the product based on the incoming order, right? So with this particular functionality, when the sales team captures the order, they can pass that order requirements to the engineering team, who in turn can go through the requirements, design or define the system, then pushes it back to the sales team for approval. And that's how they create the order, which in turn drives your product costing and material planning. And the last important point, I would say, the shop floor integration. We all know that the production execution needs to be closely tied to the ERP system. With SAP, we can seamlessly connect our system, SAP system, to the shop floor execution system by pushing the right kind critical information real time. And when I say information, I mean information like production order status, the components that you need to use, the batches of the components that you need to use, right? Which production line, what are the parameters? All this information can be seamlessly transferred from SAP to your MES system, so that the shop floor person or the production operator can see them and carry out their operations. So maybe, yep, we can go to the next slide.
All right. So quick one before we go into the next slide. All of these are great. All of the functionality, Deep, and thank you, by the way, Deep, for that expose. All of those functionalities are great. Here at Vista View, we do not see this as just technology replacing technology. We want to be able to tie all of these great functionality to enterprise value. At the end of the day, that's what businesses care about the most. So on the right-hand side, I put a summary of how all of this helps drive enterprise value for manufacturing enterprises. First is operational intelligence, operational efficiency, global visibility, predictive intelligence, and that emphasizes S4's embedded analytics and AI that transforms reactive manufacturing into proactive decision making. Okay, so I'll just move to the next slide, and Deep can continue.
Thanks. So why we would like to have SAP for industrial manufacturing? There are so many reasons, and I'm going to highlight a few over here, which I feel is the more critical. The first thing is SAP comes with a variety of planning strategies, like for make to stock, make to order with variant configuration, engineering to order, etc. SAP also brings real-time visibility on the manufacturing operations. You can see like what's going on, and it also helps you analyze your profitability across all the segments. SAP also comes with like pre-configured best practices or the leading practices, like which we can leverage and improve our business processes. And the last part, which I personally feel to be very important with like SAP Fiori apps, it's very easy to use, create user satisfaction, and we can understand and understand things pretty easily, and we have a lot of great visuals, which helps to make our work more efficient.
Absolutely. All right. No, thank you so much, Deep. And we will move into wholesale distribution, but please feel free to leave your questions in the chat, and we will take them in the Q&A segment. Okay. Over to Wenlin for wholesale distribution.
Thank you, Nuru. Hey, good morning, good evening, everyone. So for wholesale distribution, I think, we all know that a typical wholesale distribution usually sometimes has like disconnected systems where you got issues with inventory visibilities and also order promising. You don't want the customer to submit the order, but you then confirm the order and figure out that, hey, we don't have enough inventory, right? So in SAP S4HANA Public Cloud, the Cloud ERP solutions, we have embedded advanced available to promise modules, which it will help analyze the stock availabilities across multiple channels, multiple plants or storage locations. And then they help best, optimize your order fulfillments using the business rules that you define within the systems. So this is a really great benefit for the wholesale distribution companies. And on top of that, S4HANA Public Cloud also offers the embedded warehouse management tool as well, which supports some real-time stock level trackings, wave picking, and embedded scanning features within the system. Now, in terms of inventory control, we know that this is a big topic, a big pain for the wholesale distribution companies. You want to know where your inventories are, and then where they are, the status of those, whether they're available, whether they're assigned to the specific order, whether they're in transit to move from location to location, or whether they're assigned from different distribution channels. You get that whole global visibilities within the system by just running the one Fiori app. There's also an embedded report that is out of the box called Sales Order Fulfillment Monitoring Report. This report consolidates all the order exceptions like credit blocks, like delays, fulfillment issues, or inventory quantity issues into one view so that the users can easily identify the exceptions for the orders, and then they can take actions right away from that one view screen. This is one of the very good benefits for users that operating day to day for the wholesale distribution companies. Now, the last one is actually my favorite one as well, because I personally tested this maybe 2 weeks ago. When I tried to load a transaction with sales orders, this contains almost 800 line items. It just took more than probably 1 minute to get it loaded into the system, which is very fast. If you're using like other systems, that is on-prem systems or even some cloud system that SAP offered by design, in my past experience, it usually take care of transaction volumes typically less than 500 rows. Once it exceeds that 500 rows, then it usually crash down or get slow in performance. But because S4HANA Public Cloud is true cloud platform, the embedded technologies allow it to process a large volumes of transactions in very short period of times. So if you move on to the next slide.
Okay, yeah. Before I go to the next slide again, I always want to tie all of the great things you've spoken about, Wenlin, to enterprise value, because I believe we have business leaders on the call who want to see how do all of this translate to driving enterprise value for us. So I think first for me is that real-time operational visibility, which reflects the power of advanced ATP, live warehouse data, and profitability analytics. And for the next one, optimize supplier agility, for example, that represents smarter predictive inventory, to your point, Wenlin, and demand forecasting that aligns, stock levels with market shifts and customer demands and needs. And there's the last one, profitability. That's the engine room of every business, right? So this practically emphasizes how automation, flexible pricing, analytics help companies drive efficiency and sustained margin expansion as their business scales. Okay, so I will go to the next slide, and Welling, you can continue. But I wanted to quickly emphasize how these great things drive enterprise value. Welling?
Thank you, Nuru. Yes. Yeah. So, great, summaries there. But as you can see, with the SAP, solution suites for wholesale distributions, you get a fully integrated process from supply chain planning to procurement to supply chain execution and marketing, sales, and even service and solutions. So you will be able to get the real-time reporting dashboards across multiple modules within the system in one platform, improving the data transparencies. And then you get the costing analytics more quicker and faster within the system to help you make quicker decisions in the business.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's move to the next one. Wenlin, SAP for Field Service Management.
This is my favorite topic because Vista View, we originally, start with field service management experts. We have developed our in-house field service add-on called Field View many years ago, which is still using today for many of these customers. So we know what the pain points are for many different platforms in terms of field services. But compared to that, in S4HANA Public Cloud, the embedded field service modules does provide a more enhanced end-to-end processes to support the field service elements, like linking the equipment together, linking the materials, and even the building documents. When the service is completed, the building document will be available right away within the system for the accounts receivables to be able to process it into invoice. That's a very big gain for the business because you get your monies faster from your customers. Now, the next thing is also the fact I like for S4HANA Public Cloud because it's a true SaaS platform. That means you access the system from your phone anywhere as long as you have internet connectivities. You can access the platform on your mobile devices, which is a big benefit for the technicians. They don't want to carry the computer around. They want to just bring their phones or maybe tablets to see the orders, to see the details, and then they can work on that tablet to confirm the jobs, to put in the actuals so that they can have that information synchronized with the backend. So this you can gain within the system. The embedded analytics, well, this is something that, again, I repeat it again and again. I think SAP does have a lot of real-time dashboards supporting the tracking metrics like technicians, utilizations, your material status, your order status, etc., so that easily the management teams can see exceptions on service execution from the systems. Asset data tracking and traceability, that's another enhanced modules in S4. S4 provides a complete module in terms of helping you maintain the asset data, including you can maintain the asset equipment master data and history tracking within the platform. You can also have a full set of asset maintenance workflows enabled as well to help you manage your proactive maintenance, your reactive maintenance, your enhancement maintenance, etc., within the single platform. So you can see the whole, profit and cost per each asset within the system in a dashboard view. Scheduling dispatching is another advanced features in S4 as well. We have a built-in resource scheduling, allow users to see each resources based on the skills and the availabilities, so that when the service technician, service manager are trying to assign a resource, dispatch technicians, they can easily identify whether they can dispatch the technicians based on the skill or they need to postpone the task or not within the systems.
Absolutely. All right. No, thank you, Wenlin. Again, before you continue to the next slide and dive deeper, I wanted to also tie all of this to enterprise value that I have on the right-hand side of the screen. You have faster service to cash. I spoke about this when I was talking about challenges that field services companies face. And this actually captures how integrated lifecycle management, automated billing, real-time order processing helps to accelerate revenue recognition and cash flow for your business. And then next one, predictive operational excellence. And this reflects how embedded AI, predictive maintenance, analytics turn reactive service models into proactive data-driven operations. And then the last one, customer experience. If your customers are unhappy, if your customers are getting delayed, then it's going to translate to a poor revenue for the business. And so S4HANA here highlights, S4HANA's capabilities here highlight how real-time visibility, mobile execution, SLA-driven responsiveness help to boost customer satisfaction, loyalty, long-term retention for your customers. All these three together summarize how S4's transformative value helps drive enterprise value for field service organizations. So wanted to quickly stress that here, and I'll allow Wenlin continue to the next slide.
So yeah, why SAP for field service management? We explained earlier, with the platforms, you will be able to get a full integrated process from your service request where you can see how the users can easily, record a request from the customers, and then we can easily convert that request into the actual service order to dispatch and schedule for the service technicians to fulfill. And the service, managers, they can of course do planning and resource scheduling within the system in a single platform. Once the technicians execute the services and then they put in the actuals for the confirmation, you'll be able to see right away the system gets the billing information populated already for the accounts receivables clear. They can easily convert those information to the actual billing to the customers. So that makes the settlements of the job easier as well, because this quick turnaround time from the service confirmation or service completion to the billing is quick.
Okay, no, thank you so much, Wenlin. And I'll be mad at myself if I didn't say this. Talking about the Fiori apps, I recently was showing a customer how those apps simplify user interfaces for the native screens within S4. And I think those are really mind-blowing. It helps us make the lives of your teams much easier and better. Okay, just wanted to quickly say that. All right, before we get into the panel discussion, enough of the talking. We've talked about a lot of serious stuff. Let's do one more quick poll, again, to keep things human and lively and fun. So Sonia, if you could help us bring the next poll question, which helps us understand your current footwear situation. That's really funny.
Yeah,
All
the poll just dropped.
Okay. Yeah, and please let me know who is if we're having a solid majority of slippers and barefoot warriors.
Slippers and socks are quite even right now, but the shoes win, surprisingly.
Oh, okay. That's good. But really, who needs shoes when you have SAP S4 doing all the heavy lifting for you? So anyways, all right. No, thank you so much for helping with that. And we will move right into. So do we have the survey completed, Sonia, at this point? Okay, perfect. And who won? Sorry, I'm not sure I heard that.
The shoes. The normal shoes won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm still not part of the winning team. I don't have shoes on. I must be honest. All right. Let's move into the panel discussion, and I will be moderating this session and be asking the questions. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat, and we will take your question and try to answer them as much as possible. And if we don't have all the information to answer your question on this session, we're more than happy to take it back and circle back with you with a well-rounded response. Okay?
Yeah, Nuru, just to give you a heads up, we got already 4 questions in the chat. So let me know which ones you want to start.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, maybe we start with one of the questions we've, again, the questions you'll be hearing from us that we've arranged for this call are questions that we have gotten based off of our conversations with our customers and, experiencing their real life challenges. So I'll go ahead with the first question. So let's talk about manufacturing data. Manufacturers often say they have a ton of data, So how does S4HANA Cloud manage and bring structure to that data so it's not just collected, but it actually drives better production decisions?
Yeah, so I can take that. So as we all know, better the data is, stronger the processes are, right? And the more efficient the output is. So in terms of manufacturing, like system helps a business to organize the data in a very meaningful way. You have like product masters, you have bill of materials, routings, work centers, production versions, which is nothing but like different ways of doing your production, right? So with all this master data, you can build a very strong foundation for your production planning and execution. And you have some advanced features, for example, alternative production versions, then engineering change management, validity of the master data. So with all these things, you can really have a strong base for your production processes. And system also offers some cool features, right? Like mass upload of master data. And not only that, you can also mass update certain master data, which I personally feel is pretty useful. And while talking about data, I just saw one question about the recursive BOM I see in the chat. So yes, system does allow you to manage recursive BOM, which means that you can consume the same product to produce the same product, right? So system does allow that, and I have personally worked on it. I can testify for that.
Okay, sounds good. Sonia, do you want to take one question from the audience before we continue with the questions we've prepared for today?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. So the first question that we got in here was from Vinayak, asking if flexible MRP tools require add-on license.
Honestly, it depends. What do we mean by flexible MRP tool? The inbuilt MRP tool in SAP is very flexible in nature, right? Like unlike back in those ECC days where you can only plan for one plant at a time and you schedule the jobs and then you run them overnight, those days are gone. You can run MRP for select products, select plants at certain sequences interactively, or you can schedule them. So there are different ways of running MRP. And as I have also mentioned, that you can also run simulation using pMRP. So there are a lot of flexibilities out there in MRP, which come with your standard licenses.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deep. And we'll go over to the next question here. Right, we all know that in manufacturing, things don't always go as we plan. A machine fails, a shipment is late, materials run short. So how does S4 handle or help teams respond instantly to those types of exceptions and issues?
Yeah, I can take that as well. So like S4 has come a long way from, again, back in those ECC days where we used to have screens like stock requirement situations where we have to go line by line and try to decipher what the issue is. Right now, we have like very advanced apps like monitor material coverage. Just by looking into the visuals, I will be able to figure out like what's going wrong, which material is having issues. If there is a shortage, I can run interactively MRP for that material, take quick actions like change the forecast real quick or change the receipt item real quick. I can fix things pretty quickly and make sure that things are not going like worse, and I can take actions accordingly. And it's not just only planning, like even when it comes to the shop floor, we have new apps like manage production orders. Over there, I can see all the production orders out there. And again, like there will be visuals, right? Like it will tell me that this order is having issues with components, right? We don't have enough components, or this order is running late. Like we were supposed to, complete it yesterday, but it's still running. Maybe somebody forgot to update the system. Maybe maybe they couldn't make progress because there was a machine breakdown. So we can easily identify the issues real time and take actions real quick so that our process doesn't stop. So yes, we do have a lot of features in there to react accordingly.
Okay. No, thank you so much. And then we'll take one more question, and Sonia will go back to the chat. Right. So the next question here. So basically, everyone knows this without mincing words, that warehouses are the heartbeat of distribution. And when processes are manual, everything slows down. So how does S4's built-in warehouse management transform that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll
absolutely.
take this. Oh,
Sorry,
sorry,
go
did you go? There you go ahead, please.
Yeah, so the embedded warehouse management in S4 Public Cloud, I find it pretty useful because we have been using this, and the best thing is it's very tightly integrated to the core functions like purchasing, manufacturing, and sales. For example, like when I'm receiving something from the vendor, I can like pack them into HU, and system can tell me which bin is empty where I can store them. And when it comes to the production process, I can pull them into the staging area, which can be driven by the system. And after I'm like done with the production, I can do the quality inspection, and system allows me to inspect at the each handling unit level. And when I'm shipping them out, I can have a very controlled, seamless process where I can selectively like pick the right HUs to ship them to the customer. So it's very tightly integrated and makes the process a lot easier. Ringley, you want to add anything? Sorry, I started talking.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think you summarized it very well because as we see a lot of benefits with this whole automated processes that we can define in the system to help streamline the process for the warehouse users. And on top of that, as you will be able to see that we have embedded scanning features on some of these modules as well, so you can easily running these processes using your phone by just scanning without adding additional licenses. So that's the big benefit I want to point out for this, warehouse management modules within S4. Thank you.
Okay. No, thank you, Wenlin and Deep, for your insights there. Sonia, do you want to take one more question from the audience?
Yeah, sure. The next question is coming from Cody, asking if the shop floor integration can connect to current cloud APIs out of the box that are connected to their shop machinery.
I can try to answer that, and if our answer is not complete, we can always circle back and get the right requirements that you have. So S4 can send information, real-time information, like using different mechanisms, and that could be passed on to the MES systems. But we can try to understand a little bit more on what current cloud APIs we are talking about. We can get more details and come up with a better answer. Yes.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. So
Yeah.
Cody would follow up with you and
Yeah.
get more context to that question and provide you with a well-rounded answer. Okay. And we'll quickly go to the next question here. Again, distributors are always asking, why do I see or what do I see right away after moving to S4? Is it faster order fulfillment? Is it cleaner inventory control? Or is it better margin visibility? So the question here is, what early wins can customers expect within the first few months of go live?
Sorry, is that the questions for the elements
Yes.
for go live?
Yes.
For
For warehouse manufacturing. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. So that question was actually tied to the previous one. So yeah, let's move forward from that. So I think the next question here is on how S4 handles parts and things like that. So again, one big frustration for service companies is the delay between field work and billing, often because parts, service orders, inventory is managed in a different tool. So question here is, how does S4 connect these pieces natively so the technicians, the dispatchers, finance are all, synced up on the same page real time?
Yeah, so I would take this one. So within the system, we can design to where, you can have a service specific part inventory storage location so that you can allocate the parts that you needed for service there. Or you can, if you use the inventories that is in general inventory locations, when you create a service order, you can check the parts availabilities from the service order sections, and then you can identify whether there's inventory shortage or not at that point. And after the service order has been generated and approved by the customer, you can initiate the shipments from warehouse orders, which will can take that inventory to ship it to the customer site so that you can reserve the inventory for the service order. And when the technicians comes on site to fulfill the services, the technician will be able to consume the inventory right directly from that inventory service locations. So this will then make sure that the parts is available for the service order to fulfill within the system as a whole process flow that combines end to end.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Wenlin. Sonia, do you have any questions from the audience we can take?
Yeah, we still got two more. So the next one coming from Anam, highlighting that real-time inventory reports are valuable, but it's equally important to have the ability to run inventory availability reports as of specific date. Does S4 support this functionality?
I can try to answer that. If the question is, can we run the availability report for specific materials which are needed for a production process? The answer is yes. We can run reports on availability of the components and see where we have enough coverage and where we are running short on inventory. So we do have that report available in the standard system. And also we can run reports like what was the stock on a given date, on what's the stock today. So we also have those kind of reports. And if we talk about EWM, we have both we have reports on both available stock and the real stock. So there are reports around the actual stock and the available stock as well. So yeah, we do have those reports in the system.
Sounds good. And just a quick follow-up question to that. Is there a way we can automate the running of those reports? Because I think that question was particularly saying, can I run those reports on specific days? So is it possible to have automations run those reports at specific intervals?
It depends on the kind of reports, some reports could be run and generate an output, and some reports may not be there are certain apps which are more like managing the elements at the same time you see all the details. So it depends on what kind of report we are talking about. So
okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Deep, for that question. Sonia, can we take the next? I see you have two, so let's just finish up the questions from the audience.
Yeah, so the last question got removed, so I think I'm just assuming that it got answered already while you guys were talking. So
okay, sounds good. So we'll just move on. We have about 5 minutes to when we want to, have the call to action. So the next set of questions here. Okay, so the first one, of course, quality and compliance are, make or break areas for manufacturers, especially those in regulated industry. How does S4 help manufacturers stay ahead of those demands by embedding quality and compliance directly into daily operations?
Yeah, I can take that. So SAP has been traditionally very strong when it comes to quality management. In SAP, you can set your quality targets, right? You can build your inspection plan for different materials, and then you can perform your inspection and record them into the system and tell the system, okay, here, what was the desired value? This is the value, whether you're accepting it or rejecting it. You can cover all those things in the system. And SAP also helps with generating outputs like what's the inspection result for a given inspection lot, or for a given product, or for a given purchase order, right? And we can also generate outputs, like customer facing outputs, where we can say, okay, for this batch, these are the characteristic values we determined while we were doing the inspection. So yeah, with SAP quality management, we can improve our processes, and also the compliance for manufacturing operations, and also like associated operations.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Deep, for that. I'll move to the next one about traceability. And again, this is a very big topic lately, and not just for safety or recalls, but for sustainability and for brand trust. So how does S4 give manufacturers that much needed end-to-end traceability from raw materials to finished goods in a way that keeps them both compliant and efficient?
Yeah, I can also try to answer that. So in my opinion, batch management is probably one of the most strongest feature in SAP so far. In SAP, you can define batch management for materials. And with that, you can trace batches from the point when we have defined the batch or created the batch, let's say the time of receiving a product in our plant, till the point where it is consumed or shipped out, right? So whenever a customer comes with a complaint, and if they give us a batch number, we can trace it back to which date it was produced, which production line it was produced in, which component it used, when that component batch was received, what date, which vendor, which purchase order. So we have end-to-end traceability when we enable batch management. And also the other most important feature over here is different companies can have their own attributes defined at the batch level. For example, let's say I run a company and I would like to see the different parameters of my batch, like density, or let's say thickness, etc. So we can capture this information with respect to batch, based on which we can run report, like where used batch, or what, or attribute related reports as well. So yeah, we have a complete end-to-end package when it comes to batch management in SAP.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Deep. For want of time, we'll just take one more question, and we'll call it a wrap for this segment of the webinar. So, and I want to take the profitability question here. Profitability is often, hidden under layers of disconnected data. How does S4 help distributors see real time which products are driving profit and where margin might be slipping, in 1 minute or less, please?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So that's my, again, favorite topic, because I really like the profitability analytics dashboards within the system. It gives you the very granular cost tracking fashion that you can drill down into each transaction level details. You can expand the data with multiple angles that you want to check on the profitability side, and you can even drill down into the detailed transaction that supports that number. So the way that SAP offers this all data services, data reporting structure, really supports this, real-time and efficient profitability analytics within the systems.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Wenlin and Deep. Your insights were really, really helpful. Please feel free to send your questions. You can send any questions you have to us or through your account manager, and we will be happy to take this discussion further. Okay. All right. There comes the big question. Lots might be going through your mind. Where do I start with my S4 journey? How do I even know if S4HANA public cloud is right for my business? That's exactly why we put this up for you. And undoubtedly, one of the best ways to learn about this journey is hearing it from another Vista View customers tell their success story. And so fortunately, I have one of my customers, having a discussion with SAP sometime early November, where they will be talking about their journey, what worked for them, how they made a decision, what they have learned along the way, and what's changed for them since going live, right? So if you're interested, in that session, I'll strongly encourage you to, reach out to me directly via my email on the screen, or connect with your account manager. If you don't know who that person is, also reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction. Or if you don't even have one, let me know and we will point you in the right direction. But this is a session to help you with understanding how that journey looks like. Okay. And one other way we have helped other customers get clarity or find practical value in this journey is through a migration assessment. This is really an opportunity where, we look at your current setup, your data, your endpoints, your processes, your customizations. We understand what's working. We see where efficiencies, automation, intelligence could be unlocked in SAP S4HANA or SAP Cloud ERP. Okay, so again, we encourage you to connect with your account manager or myself if you're not sure who that person is, and we'll be more than happy to get you started on this journey. Okay. All right. Time is fast spent. We have just 2 minutes to go. So I'll quickly introduce the next episode of this series, which will be touching on common ERP challenges, use cases for SAP BTP, which is SAP's integrated platform for integration, AI analytics, extensive side-by-side extensible apps development and things like that. And we'll also be talking about SAP's business AI named SAP Joe and how that helps drive productivity. To help us with getting clarity and understanding what you'd love to see in that session, we want to put up a quick poll so you can let us know what your preferences are for that session. But that session will be hosted by my colleague Shannon Kennedy, who's been in Vista View for a pretty long time and very familiar to things like this. Okay, Sonia, could you put up the poll? Perfect. All right, sounds like we've gotten to the end of this. Please feel free to drop your, we're going to send out a survey at the end of this before you leave. Please feel free to let us know how much this was valuable to you. And we're more than happy to, work on that feedback for subsequent editions of this series. Okay. On behalf of Wenlin, Deep, and everyone at Vista View Solutions, I want to thank you for joining us today. I want you to stay curious, stay connected, and remember, your ERP shouldn't just be supporting your business. It should help you propel forward. Have a good one and enjoy the rest of your day.